I'm just trying to think back because we keep going back and forth with this like Pickett stuff. Does the expectations change and whatnot?
Yeah.
I think it's more about like we want to win, and like we think Pickett will give us a better chance to win, and it's just the risk you take.
Yeah, and I think all he was saying is once you've taken that risk and we see that it could potentially go positively, but just acknowledging that it could also go negatively.
Sure.
What's the plan after that?
I think that's the thing. He's supposed to be our future. Let's see what we got in him.
Yeah, because like I said, it hasn't been.
Let's get the development. Let's get the experience. Because all that stuff could impact year 2, year 3, as it did with someone like Joe Burrow, even Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just one of the things where it's like we always hear the switch from Mitch as in, hey, once you make that switch, everything is perfect, without really giving thought or credence to the fact that, hey, if it doesn't work, does that mean we're technically punting on this season and we're going to just call it development for Kenny? Or is it a scenario where you're saying, okay, we'll switch back to this guy, switch back? That's the part that I think he was trying to get to. And that's something that I don't really deep dive into it, but it is funny because people really don't look at that.
I like the conversation. Yeah. I think once you're mathematically out of it, then you're punting the season. But you're not until you get officially mathematically out of it. And I think that's one of the things with Pickett is if there are growing pains early on, you're expecting development because of just who he is. He was the first-round pick. He was considered the most pro-ready quarterback. Right. And what we've seen in preseason thus far, and this is what I keep saying, I know it's preseason, this and that. I just don't think the moment's going to be too big for him. I think he'll at least give us what Mitch has for the most part. At least that. And that's like, in my mind, the worst-case scenario.
See, and I think that's been my biggest difference with the people that are like pro-Kenny starting now. I just personally don't think he's giving you what Mitch is going to give you these first couple of games like we've already seen from Mitch. And then to see Mitch take that next step in week 3, I just think Mitch is going to continue to keep getting better with time, with more football, because as I had talked about on the last show, he ain't played football in terms of 4 quarters of football in a while. You had to go back to Chicago time frame. So it was like, man, he's going to have Rusty as the knockoff. He's going to have his own version of growing pains, not just within Canada's offense, but just knocking off the rust from himself. So it's like, man, I'm over here like, yo, the longer you give him time, as long as we can stay afloat, which we've done thus far through 3 weeks, we're sitting at 1-2, can make a case that we should be 2-1.
3-0.
But see, to me, I said the Browns, I thought that they did get it. I thought the Patriots one, we should have got out of there. Yeah. But I was like, I get the Browns one. So that's why I was like 2-1. But either way, I'm like, if that's where I'm at, worst case right now is at 1-2, and at least I saw a step of progress even on a short week. To me, that's why I'm like, man, I don't want to cut that at any time. I want to let that keep playing out, because as long as, like you said, we're not mathematically eliminated, why would I do something to just shift the whole hierarchy of my team, of my offense, of Matt Canada, when we're still trying to figure out if he's even competent?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like been my stance with this thing while we're rolling. I get, for those that just swear up and down that Kenny's better, I just don't have that type of faith in him just yet. But that could be the biggest difference between why you might feel like he gives you the best versus for me, I'm kind of like, no, I don't want to go there just yet, because I don't necessarily believe that Kenny just comes in and bare minimum is what Mitch Trubisky is right now.
Yeah, so I guess it's a couple of things. So I'm basically on the whole just week by week. Let's take it week by week. I think Trubisky, after that week 3, he's earned more time. And I said that back to Friday. Let's see how it looks against the Jets. If he just comes out here and lays an egg, we're 1-3. Oh, it's like, all right, I think we really, really got to start considering this. But
for sure,
no, it comes out, we're 2-2. Okay, maybe what if we split the Bills-Bucks? Mitch is still looking good. Like, I'm just on this week-by-week thing. But, I mean, and then obviously if we come out and win, then, you win the next 2 or 3, whatever it is. Then still roll with what's working if Mitch is still playing good out there. Because there could even be a scenario like, what if in the Bills or Bucks game, like we lose, but Mitch balls out? He's not the problem.
A lot,
But what if it is the whole defensive thing? We're close, defense
and we can't match, we can't keep up. That's a different conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just on the whole week-by-week thing with it. I would have liked to seen Pickett from the start, but that's not the case. You have the locker room at play with these decisions as well. So right now, with where we're sitting, I think we're fine with going with Mitch in week 4.
No, for sure. So like I said, for me, man, I never had that strong stance on any of these dudes. And we talked about this even during the offseason. When you were like, all right, I'm going to plant my flag with this guy. All right, now it's this guy. I was like, I never felt like any of them was that different from the other. So, like, I don't even get to have, like, the biasness that I would want in a sense to be like, yo, like Haskins was my bias guy. Unfortunately, I don't have him anymore. So I was like, I really don't have anyone where I could just be like, oh no, I just think he's better because. So that's why I'm just kind of like, until I actually see why in stadium, like I'm not big on making the type of moves like that. But either way, that was a good convo though, man.
Yeah, because I think the other thing is, even with Mitch improving, it's just that thought of, okay, if you think Kenny's better, if you think he can read the field better.
If you think that, then
he's
it's
got
nothing.
the it factor. He could be worth an additional touchdown in a game.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, even with all the stuff that happened on offense where we got that bullshit call, Deontay had the drop, it's like if you're Mahomes or Burrow, any of these dudes, that stuff doesn't make or break your offense.
Whereas for us right now, it does.
You're
seem
pointing
to have
at these
that.
individual plays where it's like, oh, it's just 3rd and 15. Oh, one of these dudes are going to get it anyway. Like Burrow, Mahomes, their offense, they could get a 3rd and 15 like it's nothing. Like Ben with the killer bees.
Right.
We get in a bind or something, it's 3rd and 19. Whatever.
Everybody will make it happen.
AB, we'll get it back. Whereas like it does feel like the offense right now is relying on these make or break
on schedule.
plays,
Yeah.
which you still have to make, but when it goes wrong, we're looking for that bounce back that it doesn't feel like we're getting from Mitch right now. And if you think Pickett can do it, that's another reason. Like in the back of my mind, it's like, man, if Pickett can win in maybe some of these margins, like when something's not going right, if we could somehow get back on schedule, you think Pickett's that type of quarterback to do it, and that's why I would like to see him as well.
Yeah.
But week by week, Mitch improved. If he improves again against the Jets, like, all right, stick with him. Yeah. Stick with him till otherwise, because we'll be sitting at 2-2, and then we do have a tough part of the schedule coming up.
Yeah. I'm with it, bro.
Yeah.
Did you know that today's show is brought to you by DraftKings? You know, the leaders, in terms of being safe, secure, and reliable. When you talk about sports betting, the sportsbook game, they are numero uno. Okay? But more importantly, Deke, we know that football season is here, whether we're talking college or professionally, and there's always action, man. There's always upsets happening, but there's also, people covering and all that good stuff. So what better way to, watch some of that and to feel a part of some of that than to put in a little, moolah on the line. But we got something dope for all those first-time people, because we all had to start out at some point in time hopping into the sports betting game. So with that being the case, for all the first timers out there, when you download that DraftKings Sportsbook app, make sure you use the promo code MOATS. So when you do that, Deke, all they got to do is this, man. Use the promo code MOATS. They're going to put $5 down on whatever their first bet is, right? Whatever that first one is. But then as soon as you do that, you're getting $200 in free bets. $200 in free bets. That's essentially free money, man.
Sounds like an amazing deal.
I mean, dude, how can you not like that? You're going to be winning because you're going to be winning or having a chance to win. And then you're going to spin the block and have a chance to win some more. To me, man, that sounds like a win-win to me. Sounds like a good situation. Okay. So with that being said, man, you definitely want to check them out. Download the app, but more importantly, use that promo code NDEEK. I would be remiss. I would. If I didn't talk about the other side of this thing, Deke. Because we know not everybody can just have a good time. Some people overdo it. Not everybody can weather the bad times.
It's all about balance.
You got to have that balance, right? The circle of life, some people might call it. Okay. But either way, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, they might need crisis counseling or referral services. You see us a number right there for my New Yorkers that you can call or you can text. But for the rest of y'all, it's a little number you can dial. And it's 1-800-GAMBLER.